Hey guys, welcome to another episode of SoTellUs Time. So Troy and I have had a fun time trying to figure out doing this episode with you guys. We are actually on a vacation or more of a staycation here in Scottsdale, Arizona. You can't really travel very much right now. Things are kind of shut down and crazy. But we did want to bring our families and go do something fun. So here we are in Scottsdale, Arizona. If you could see the table right now, it's set up with our whole system. We've got everything up, our mics and our switchboards and our cameras and everything like that. And I don't have one cord that I need. One cord. And I didn't feel like driving all the way back to Gilbert to get it. So today we're actually just doing it right from our phone, my phone. So this is going to be fun. Hopefully you guys can hear us really well and you're going to be able to see us really well. Today we're going to be talking about online is not an option. What? Online is not an option, but that's like where a lot of business comes from, is online. Yes, online is not an option anymore, people. It's a must. Thank you, COVID-19, for turning this world into an online world. I think Amazon and eBay especially right now, is so thankful, sadly, probably, for this whole situation that's going on, because eBay, died off a long time ago, and then they came back, and they've really been struggling. But now they are booming, and so is Amazon and all these other places. So online is a must, and we're going to talk about your business in one specific way. Not everything online. We're not going to just necessarily go over like your website and SEO and all that. We've talked about that in the past. Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. So I'm going to let Troy get into some of the ways that online has evolved.
Yeah, so we're going to basically be taking some different industries and talking about ways that you can utilize online services in order to, make your business better. So one of the areas that's been really affected by this is education and training, right? Obviously, all those parents out there are like, oh, my kid stopped going to school, and I had to try and teach them, and that was horrible, right? But in the business world, the same thing happened as far as, education and training. Like I was actually just literally right now, my daughter, instead of going to a certified nursing assistant program at a school, she's at a resort in Scottsdale online on a Zoom call doing her CNA program. Wow. 6 months ago, that would have never happened, right? Because you couldn't do that program online. You had to be sitting in a class, right?
Yep.
To learn it. Well, not anymore. She's literally in a 5-star condo, and she is, just learning right online through Zoom. So it's crazy, but it's not just education as far as like those kind of things. It's also events.
Yep.
So we had tons of events that were canceled this year that we were supposed to go and speak at those events, as one of the special speakers there, and they were canceled. So what do these events have to do? Well, they had to go online. They had to start creating virtual events.
Yep.
And, at first we're like, oh my gosh, that absolutely sucks because these events were canceled. But if you think about it from a business's perspective, businesses used to spend tens of thousands of dollars sending their employees to go to these events, and between the flights and the food and the hotel rooms, they were very expensive, right, to get your employees to these events. Well, now you can just do virtual events, and your employees can attend these virtual events, and they can get the same education that they were getting before, but you're not having to spend that money in order to do it. Yeah. So the world has changed. So if you're an event company, right, you should be doing virtual events. Absolutely. That's, if you have any sort of educational course, look at doing it online. Figure out how to use Zoom. Zoom is super easy. It's, so Zoom's a great way to do it. So let's talk about some of the other industries. Trevor, why don't you tell us about real estate?
Yeah, so real estate. One of the things that the real estate industry has adapted to, and I think I've seen more and more people going this way now, is through these virtual tours, right? So you can go into a home and you can do a virtual tour of a home that one of your clients is interested in purchasing. So that's a really good way to do it. You can go in the home. One of the big things that happens when COVID first hit was that people didn't even want anyone coming through and touring their house. Yep. They were too scared. So we were advising our realtors, just contact the person, the seller, and let them know that you are going to be the only person that comes into that home, and you're just going to do a virtual tour utilizing, Skype Or if you're an Apple user, FaceTime, there's Google Hangouts, there's many programs out there. You can even do Zoom. Zoom has an app online or on the phone that you can utilize to do these video tours with. So doing video tours of homes is a good way to continue to do business. The home evaluation. You can do evaluation of a home on a Zoom call. So that way, when you're getting somebody that wants to sell their home, you guys could be doing your Zoom call. You could be, they could walk around the house and show you the house and show you anything that they think is really special about the house or should be shown off, right? And you can do these valuations via Zoom, which saves you gas, saves you time, energy, and efforts, and it helps the seller as well. That helps them with their time, energy, and efforts as well. So it's a more streamlined and better way to do it. And then, that also goes in with the, market analysis. So doing these online tours is going to be a theme that you're going to see in many of these industries that we're going to talk about, and they could be pre-recorded or they could be live tours. The next one would be like patio furniture companies. Or
real
showrooms.
Quick on the real estate one I want to bring up, because I remember COVID-19, you were telling me about one of the realtors that that he went out and bought a Tesla because he's like, I drive, like 100, 200 miles a day, running from house to house to client, and think about all that time spent, traveling around in his Tesla to, take care of those clients when he could just jump on a Zoom call, he can just jump on FaceTime and take care of everything right away. So the amount of time that you can save and that you can tell your clients, hey, look, instead of driving around all these places, I can focus on marketing your house and getting it sold.
That's right. Absolutely. And that's the point, is people want this now. The world realized they can continue to run in a kind of more efficient way with online. I mean, I love face-to-face. Get me in front of somebody and I will sell them on what I want to sell them on, right? But I can still do that just via video like we're doing right now. If you guys are watching our YouTube show, you guys are seeing us on video right now, and there's a connection. You can see my beautiful face. And so you can still have that connection, right? And you can still have those, sales opportunities via video, and it's super easy. And now the world, whereas it was harder before, people hadn't used Zoom before. Well, guess what? Everybody's using Zoom. All the parents had to utilize it for their kids and their education. So it's just getting easier, and that's why you need to be thinking down this road. So like one of our patio companies, Premier Patio, they're amazing. Locally owned, locally built, they powder coat everything themselves. They're an amazing company. When this all hit, we helped them set up virtual tours where they could set up a Zoom call. Someone could opt in and they would call them and do a Zoom call and walk around and actually show them current inventory, answer all of their questions. Then it got so busy that we ended up having to streamline it, and we pre-recorded a tour of the inventory. And now people can just opt in and see all the inventory and kind of see what they're all about, and they did it via video, and it's working really, really well. So what's another industry that people could be utilizing and streamlining their business with online?
Oh yeah, so another one is car dealerships.
Yeah,
right? So a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to go out, I don't want to jump in and out of these cars and test drive them because, I don't know if they've been cleaned or whatever it might be. So there's a little bit of a concern there, right? Yep. So the car dealerships, the sales are down. So what some of our clients are doing is they, again, are doing these virtual tours with the clients.
Yeah.
So, which isn't actually a bad thing. I actually did this prior to this whole thing happening with the car that I bought.
Yep.
It was over an hour away, and I didn't want to just drive down there, because they didn't even have pictures yet of the vehicle.
Yeah, it was so new.
Yeah, it was so new. They didn't have the pictures. So it's like, I don't want to drive all the way down there. I don't even know what it looks like yet. So what did the salesman do? He's like, oh, let's jump on a FaceTime. Boom. Yep. And he just went right through the car. He showed me everything, answered all my questions. We talked about price. We started working, haggling back and forth.
Yeah.
And then, and the whole process was really, really smooth. Yep. And that's what dealerships can do nowadays. Show them the cars, via those virtual tours. Start the negotiations via Zoom. You can even do DocuSigns for the contracts.
Absolutely.
Right? If you look at where the world is going with dealerships, and look at Carvana, everything is done online. And you literally just show up and you pick up your car, and that's it. Yeah. Like, you're done.
Well, and I know dealerships, some of them, they have delivery options.
Yep.
So, I know if I was a sales rep, I would I would be like, hey, dude, I'll pay you $20 to, follow me over here, and I'm going to drop this car off to this person that just bought this car, and then give me a ride back. And I would be delivering them myself if I was. I would do anything. I mean, I am a true salesman. I love to sell. So, I mean, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, and that's where, like I said, that's where the future's going. So if you own a dealership and you're not going that way, then you're going to fall behind, because Carvana and those other guys are already streamlining that process.
Absolutely.
Another one is, residential services. Let's talk about residential services. We have tons of clients and listeners that are in the residential services area.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you should be doing is virtual estimates, right? Gone are the days where you should be sending somebody out to take a look at the property and, write up an estimate.
And I know you're going to struggle with this because, again, I'm like you. If I can get my person in front of them, or if I can get in front of them, I know I'm going to sell it. So I know that this is going to be a struggle for some of you to think like, but I don't know. We're talking about video. We're still talking about getting in front of these people, right?
Exactly. And this is really, really important because, like Trevor said, you might think like, well, no, I need to get out there. I need to sell them. I'm really good at that, right? And you probably are really good at that.
Yeah.
But guess what? Let me tell you a story about one of our clients. I think we've talked about them in the past. It's Gutter Ducks, and they do, the rain gutters on houses. And with everything that was going on, they couldn't go out, and people were, hesitant to have them come to their house.
Yep.
So what do? They started changing everything up. He started doing Zoom calls in order to, talk with them and find out what they needed and come up with the best product and everything for them. And then he started using a product, I believe, called Eagle Eye, so that he could look at the roof, and then he could actually do his quotes right off of the roof.
Yeah.
So he never even had to go out to the property. Now, again, Gutter Duck is in an area where they service, it can take them an hour or two to drive to the different, an hour to drive out, an hour to drive back.
Yes.
And one of the marketing he utilizes is where he's getting leads, but he's not the only one getting those leads. So the lead comes in and it goes to 4 of his competitors as well.
Yep.
But he's crushing them because when people reach out, or he reaches out to talk to the person, and he says, okay, great, I just need this information, need to talk to you real quick. Okay, boom, I will have your estimate over to you in the next 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then everybody else who calls him that got that lead is like, okay, great, I will be out there in 3 days to measure your house.
Yes.
Right? So he's crushing it. He's literally tripled his business in a very short period of time because he can beat his competitors every single time.
Yeah.
Because he's faster, right?
And he's doing more estimates now. He's just doing so many more estimates because it's so much easier to do. It's streamlined.
Exactly. So you should be doing that too if you are in the residential services. So virtual estimates is a big part of it. The other thing we want to talk about is if you're a blind company, here's another great example. Use Zoom, FaceTime, Google Hangouts to have your clients show you the project. If you're doing any kind of home remodel, things like that.
Yep.
Have them show the project to you via Zoom, and then you can gather information, and then you can get them an estimate quicker versus waiting. And again, you're talking via Zoom or FaceTime, so you can connect just like we're connecting right now.
Yeah.
And you can still close the sale, but you're just doing it way faster for your client, which is exactly what they want.
And that's an industry where it tends to get a little lazy. So for all my home remodel people, don't be offended, but honestly, it gets a little lazy, and you just want to send out an email with an estimate, and then there's no follow-up. And we've talked about this in the past where we've personally experienced this. And again, we have clients that we're helping to streamline and automate their business. So we know this firsthand that blinds and home remodels, flooring, all that kind of stuff, they need to do a little bit better job. They've gotten to where it's gotten a little bit lazy, and they just want to send an email, they want to send an estimate, and then there's just no follow-up with it. Well, guess what? If you were to start to do this, and we have clients that it works. Connecting with the people, because this is something that, Troy, if you go out and you get an estimate from 5 different companies, you have one company follow back up with you. Well, what if you had a company that was like, hey, let's jump on a Zoom. Let's look at the project together. Let's see those cabinets that you want to replace. Let's look at that floor that you want to have taken out. Oh, those blinds, you want to put shutters on? Show me the windows. You would be like, this is phenomenal compared to the other 4 that just sent an email. And here's the price, and then there's just nothing there.
Exactly. And the other thing, too, talking about the video side of it, is, think about it. You send over an estimate, right, to them, and they're looking through the estimate, and I've gotten these estimates for remodels that we've done recently, and it's like, I don't know. Well, does this include that, or does this include this, or what? You have all these questions, but I got to sit there and type out an email and ask all those questions. No, if we just jumped on a Zoom call and say, boom, I'm going to send you the document, but boom, here's where. Let's just go through everything right now. Let me answer all your questions, and then let's close.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
So much faster. Besides the fact that even, when it comes to video, when it comes to people's retention of your conversations, they're going to retain so much more if it's via video. If you're talking to them via video, then it's going to be them reading an email.
That's right. And guess what? Zoom and these programs, they record it. They can auto-record everything. So part of it can be like, hey, I'm going to shoot you an email with the recording of this call so that you have all the information. And if you say, hey, what did he say about that? Or I just forgot something, they can go back and watch it again. It's phenomenal. It's great. All right, guys, that's it for today. Let's go over your homework. What you need to do is look at your business and find one thing that you can streamline utilizing like Zoom or FaceTime or Skype or these Google Hangouts or one of these programs that's out there. What's one thing in your business that you could take and streamline that process and, double and triple. Some of these clients of ours are doubling and tripling their business because they're more effective. So look at your business and what is one thing that you can take and implement something like this, right? We may not have specifically named your company or your industry, but you can look at these examples and say, I can do this in this way, right? Okay, guys, we will see you guys next time on SoTellUs Time.